the emus could face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. They were comparing emus to tanks, military tanks. In 1932, the Australian government declared war on emus. The emus won. This is not a metaphor. Welcome back to the Crude Canvas, where history's biggest disasters get the stick figure treatment they deserve. Today's story involves the Australian military, approximately 20,000 emus, and the single most embarrassing armed conflict in the history of a nation that has fought in 2 world wars. It involves machine guns. It involves trained soldiers. It involves a complete and total defeat at the hands of a bird that cannot fly. The year is 1932, Western Australia. The Great Depression is in full swing, and Australian wheat farmers are struggling. They have a problem. 20,000 emus have descended on their farmland during migration season, trampling crops, breaking fences, and generally behaving as if the farms belong to them. The farmers write to the government. The government, in its infinite wisdom, decides the solution is military intervention. Not wildlife management, not fencing, not relocation. The Army. Major G.P.W. Meredith of the Royal Australian Artillery is dispatched to handle the situation. He brings with him 2 soldiers, 2 Lewis guns, the same machine guns used in World War I, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Major Meredith is confident. This is, after all, a man with military training, professional weapons, and a decade of combat experience. The emus are birds. Large birds, but birds. The operation begins on November 2, 1932. Major Meredith's plan is straightforward. Wait for the emus to gather in large groups. Open fire with the Lewis guns. Repeat until problem solved. The emus do not cooperate with this plan. The moment the first shots are fired, the flock, which had been moving as one large group, instantly splits into dozens of small groups and scatters in every direction simultaneously. Each small group runs a different way. Each small group is now too small and too spread out to target efficiently with a machine gun. The emus have, apparently without any military training whatsoever, executed a perfect dispersal maneuver. Major Meredith is not amused. The soldiers spend the next several days chasing small groups of emus across the Australian outback. The emus are faster than expected. The terrain is worse than expected. The guns jam repeatedly in the dust. When they do fire, the emus absorb an implausible number of bullets and keep running. An ornithologist observing the campaign noted, and I am quoting directly here, that the emus could face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. They were comparing emus to tanks, military tanks. After 12 days, Major Meredith's forces have fired approximately 2,500 rounds of ammunition. Confirmed emu kills? Approximately 50. 50. That is roughly 1 emu per 50 rounds of military-grade ammunition. The operation is quietly suspended. The government tells the press it has been a success. It has not been a success. The farmers write again. The emus are still there. Could the Army please come back? The Army comes back in November. They fire another 9,000 rounds. The emus remain largely unimpressed. The operation is suspended again in December. Members of the Australian Parliament begin asking questions. The Minister of Defence is asked about the campaign's progress. He describes the results as satisfactory. An opposition member of Parliament suggests that the emus should be awarded medals for their performance, and that if the Army had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. He was not entirely wrong. The Great Emu War is remembered today as one of history's great military embarrassments. A modern army with modern weapons deployed against birds and defeated. The farmers eventually solved the problem themselves, with fencing, which had been suggested from the beginning. The emus are still in Western Australia. They won. They are still winning. Major Meredith, to his credit, maintained a sense of humor about the whole thing. He reportedly said the emus had proved themselves organized, tough, and difficult to kill, much like Zulus, whom he had also fought. He had compared emus to Zulu warriors. He was not entirely wrong about that either. This is the Crude Canvas. If you want to see what happens when NASA's most expensive rocket explodes because someone forgot a punctuation mark, hit subscribe and we will see you on the next canvas.
Subscribe.